Guys, stop wasting your fucking money. I don't care how harsh this sounds because some of you need to hear it. I need to hear it as well. But y'all are out here racking up credit card debt to look rich. You're trying to flex for social media. You're buying cars that cost more than your salary, and you're spending like you're already successful. When in reality, you're just digging a deeper hole. And for what? To impress people who wouldn't even show up to your funeral anyway? Who wouldn't even invite you to their wedding anyway? Who wouldn't even like care about you in any regards anyway? If you're serious about building a life of freedom, you want to level up, or you want to just create a better, reality for yourself, not just flexing for social media, then keep watching, because we're about to fix your entire mindset around money right now. And I'm going to give you my top 5 or 6 things to really focus on, and why you guys really need to stop wasting your money and make smarter, better financial decisions. And I want to preface this video by first off saying that a lot of these stuff I've learned just from my mistakes. So I'm hoping you guys cannot make those mistakes as well. And also there's, other popular like financial people like, Dave Ramsey, stuff like that. People can love them or hate them, whatever. But there's a lot of good information on the internet, but I want to give you my takes on what's the most important things that I see and kind of go from there. So the first one is the credit card trap. So a fun fact about me, I actually don't really use a credit card much. I think using a credit card is fine if you want to quote unquote build credit and stuff like that. But if you're going to use a credit card, I would really, really advise to still only spend what you would have spent anyways, right? So like if you're going to buy gas, use your credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. But a lot of people act like you can just buy whatever you want and be like, oh, I'll pay it later. Like, bro, why do people think like that? If you don't have the money to buy something, don't buy it. Okay, don't buy it. A house is the only exception, and a car is the second exception that's okay if done in a reasonable manner. What do I mean by that? Pretty much anything you buy in the modern world, you should be able to buy fully cash besides a house and a car. Even cars, you should still try to buy cash, but I do realize that, like, for instance, if I had a daughter and she was 18, like, do I really want my daughter buying like a $4,000 car with 200K miles on it? Probably not, right? So I do think that when you include like maintenance costs and all that stuff, if it makes sense to finance a car and you can do it in a smart way where your payment is very low, then I think it's overall okay. But regardless, you guys need to avoid unnecessary debt, especially credit card debt, because think about this. If you go in debt to get a house or you go in debt to get a car, at least you have a car or at least you have a house. If you go into debt for credit cards, you literally get nothing in return. The only thing you get in return is 22% APR, and you're just paying debt forever. Pretty much. Like, credit card debt is at an all-time high. And you're spending future money that you don't have. You're putting invisible chains on yourself. Interest rates are predatory in 2025. They're predatory. You're just paying extra to stay broke. And using a credit card for lifestyle fluff is like drinking salt water when you're thirsty, right? It feels relief at first, but it slowly kills you and it's slowly making you more dehydrated. So you guys just need to think about that. And my second point overall, I already touched on, but it's delaying gratification. Wealth is built in silence, not on impulse. You don't need that new iPhone, right? You don't need the $300 weekend, that fast food times 5, the fast food 5 times a week. People who win with money understand this. If you don't control your impulses will control you and control your bank account. So this goes into a lot of things, right? This goes into the credit cards, student loans, really any type of debt. But you guys need to practice delaying gratification, right? People talk about delayed gratification and a lot of different things in this world, but when it comes to finances, people act like it's like not a thing. But one thing that I try to do myself, and I would encourage you guys to do this, I do like buying things. Like if I want something that, and I want to buy something, I'm not saying you can't buy stuff, but let's say you really want to buy this game or like this, some toy or something, or like you want to buy something for yourself, right? I would hold off for like a month, assuming it's something that you don't like there's like an unlimited amount, right? But I would hold off for like a month, 30 days or so, and like really see if you still want it, right? See if you still even want it. That's one thing that I've learned is like a lot of times when you want to buy something, it is an impulse. It's like an urge. It's like something like, oh, like this looks cool. But like, just sit on it for a little bit, right? It's not going to go anywhere unless you're trying to buy like, the most rare baseball card in the world or something. It's probably not going to go anywhere. So just sit on it for a bit, right? Just sit on it for a bit. We live in the most marketed to society ever. I want you guys to think about that. We live in a society where there's ads on YouTube. There's ads on social media. There's going to be ads in video games in probably 3 to 5 years, calling it now. There's ads on all these things. And like, you're constantly being sold to. There's actually a study done. I don't remember the exact percentage or whatever, but basically was saying that the more time you spend on their phone, the more people just spend on like consumerism and stuff like that. Because think about it, like the more you're on your phone and on social media, the more ads you see and the more stuff you see to buy. So you have to practice delaying gratification, saving and investing first, and really creating a budget for yourself so that way you're not out there spending money that you really don't have but you think you do. And this third point here that I want to touch on is don't finance a car that's more than you make. So I think in general that you probably, I believe actually Ramsey says this on his show. He talks about that your stuff with wheels and motors, so cars, should never be more than 50% of your income, right? And I think that's a pretty good, rule of thumb. I do think that obviously having a paid off car is the best way to go. I paid off my first truck and I drove that truck for 5 years. I do think having a paid off car is the best, but at the very minimum, if you're going to finance a car or you're going to have a payment, good rule of thumb, I would say, is maximum $500 payment. Try to get it below that. But regardless, if you want to put a percentage on it, I would say don't drive a car that's more than, like I said, 50% of your income. Because I do understand that cars are important, especially in America. Like, you do need a car in a lot of cities, especially if you have to commute to your job and stuff like that. But just don't let the car own you. Don't force your way into a car on some 10-year loan with some crazy interest rate with no money down, rolling in negative equity and all this BS just to drive this BMW so like you can impress this person that's not even thinking about you in the first place, right? So just be smart with that, right? You're not flexing when you do that. You're just financing your own downfall. If your car payment feels like your rent, you messed up. You ever see those TikToks where people are like, what's your car payment? What's your car payment? They're like $1,200. Bro, like that's crazy. That's literally like a rent payment. So just be smart in that regard, guys. And my fourth point I touch on is this applies to all people, right? This applies to if you're young, if you're older, whatever. But especially, guys, if you're younger, like you guys need to start investing now. Not later. I was actually someone that put off investing for a while. I mean, I would, looking back, I wish I would have started investing right at 18. But I was actually one of those people that even before I got into the whole like Ramsey and debt and financial stuff a couple years ago, even before that, I hated debt already. So like a lot of my money went into paying off student loans. I had like 40 grand student loans. By the way, if you're watching this and you're younger, don't take out student loans. It's stupid. But I had student loans. I was able to pay them all off by just working my tail off from landscaping business and other jobs and just throwing all my money at the debt. So I didn't invest as much because I was paying off my debt. But now that I'm debt free, I've been investing more, and it's something where I do believe that you should pay off any debt that you have that's higher interest rate. So like, for instance, if you have some debt that's maybe, 7, 8%, 10% interest rates, credit card debts, auto loans, I would try to get those down as fast as possible and reduce them. But if you have, like, let's say you're listening to this and you have let's say you have a student loan and it's like a 3% interest rate. Now, Ramsey would tell you that you should pay it off, and I still also would tell you probably should pay it off. But at the very least, you could probably say, well, hey, like, if I have an interest rate of 3%, I could put it in the market and make 5, make 6, whatever. So I do get that argument too. So at the end of the day, I would say pay off very high interest debt and avoid it altogether. Well, let me backtrack real quick. If you have debt, pay it off, right? But regardless, avoid high interest debt, avoid bad debt, which is like 99% of it. And then start investing now. Every day you wait to invest, you're losing money to time. And you can look this up. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but like, they say like $1,000 in the S&P 500 over 30 years comes out to like a lot of money, right? And that's true. Like, if I were to say, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, well, what do I invest in? I would just say, guys, keep it simple. I think a Roth IRA is one of your best ways to go for retirement. So for instance, a Roth IRA is basically, it's very similar to a normal IRA, except it's tax free. So basically you're paying taxes when you invest the money. And then when you pull it out at 59 and a half or 60, you don't pay taxes on that money when you pull it out. So you do have to keep investing into there. I believe the limit is $7,000 a year. It was 6,000. I believe it went up to 7. It could change though. But the reason it's limited is because the IRS knows how crazy good a Roth IRA is. They know that, right? So like, if you're someone listening to this, whether if you're 20, 30, 35, like just open a Roth IRA. I'm telling you, it's really good. For me personally, I have $500 a month going in there automatically right from my paycheck. That's $6,000 a year. And then at some point I'll just throw in an extra 1,000 that makes it 7,000, and that's maxed out my Roth IRA. And then I also have a couple $100 a month that also go into like mutual funds. If you're someone who wants to invest, I would just look up some basic videos on investing too. Like you could watch Ramsey, you could watch some other people, or just do some research. But I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but I would just recommend Roth IRA. I'd recommend mutual funds, index funds, things like that. S&P 500, VOO. Those are going to be very safe investments. I would find it very hard to believe that someone's going to watch this video, throw some money in the S&P 500 and lose money over the course of 30 years. You could lose money in the course of 30 days, but if you look at the overall chart of the S&P 500, mutual funds, the American stock market all together, it has gone up over the course of since it's been around, and it's been around for damn near 100 years, actually a little over 100 years, right? So start investing now, not later. Compounding interest is slow at first, but then it becomes violent and explosive after, and that is how wealth works. So the fifth one, I would say, and this relates to investing as well, but this is a little bit different because this is more of like a cash position, but you guys need to have some type of high yield savings account or CD. So I've put my money in a CD before. A CD stands for certificate of deposit. Basically, all that is from what I understand, is like you're basically lending the bank that money, and then they can use that money to do whatever they want with it. But like they're holding the money for you, and you earn like usually around 5% on a CD, maybe 4%. It's very similar to high yield savings, except it's not as liquid. You can pull it out, but you would lose the interest in it. So I would recommend a CD for if someone is like, say you had like, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever that number is, and you want to just put it into maybe a 5 or 7 month or a year CD and just make a quick 5% on it, and you for sure won't need the money, then a CD would be a good option for you. But overall, I would recommend looking into a high yield savings account. There's banks like Huntington, Capital One, Chase, Fifth Third, stuff like that. A lot of banks should have a high yield. I will admit, the rates haven't been as good as they used to be. But, like my high yield that I use, I get a 4.2% rate. And I bank with a bank that's pretty big around where I live. It's not like one of those fully online banks. You can find fully online banks. Like I think there's one called like Laurel Road. I think they're actually a sponsor of like the Ramsey or something like that. But like there's banks online that are fully online that'll give you probably 5%. But regardless, if you have any money that you're saving right now and you're not investing, so let's say someone's watching this. You work a job or you have a business, whatever, and you're investing some money, but you also have some money just sitting in your bank with a cash position. You're probably not earning shit on there for interest. So I would really recommend getting a high yield savings account because it's free money. Like it's literally free money, right? And the one thing that's nice about a high yield savings is it's liquid too. So like you don't, like let's say you invested money into the stock market and you were investing for years and it was growing. If you were to pull that money out, you have to pay capital gains tax on the income you made, right? So like with the high yield savings, all you're really doing is just earning interest and then you just pay a little bit of taxes on the interest you earn, right? So it's a little more liquid and it's good for like, having cash positions, whether that's emergency funds, whether it's saving up for a home, saving up for a car, whatever it's going to be. But if you're someone listening to this and you want a little bit more money saved and you want some free money to go along with that, I would definitely recommend getting some type of high yield savings account for you guys to do that. And the final point I wanted to make here is stop spending to impress people. And I touched on this a little bit ago, but most people you're trying to impress don't even notice you or care in the first place. And this is something that I had to realize. Like, when I was younger, I used to think that, like, I had all these haters. Like, bro, no one's even thinking about me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a thought. It was actually Andy Frisella. He's like the CEO of that First Form company. He has like the one podcast. He blew up like probably 5 or 6 years ago. But he was talking about how, like, all these people think they have haters, but you're not even important enough to have haters. And, like, that's true. Like, yes, do I have some people that have hated on me in the past? For sure. Like, everyone has. But I'm just saying, like, everyone's so concerned with, like, hate and, like, oh, these people are going to think this. Guys, who cares? Who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? It doesn't matter. Unless someone is, like, actually up on you when they're about to, like, fight you or something, then it would matter because you're in the moment. But, like, most of the stuff that you guys experience or you think is happening or you think that people think is probably not even true. So don't go broke trying to look successful. Real power is walking into a room and not needing anyone's validation, not needing anyone's approval. And, you know, I think what's the one story that we're always taught in school with, like, the tortoise and the hare, like how remember the story with the rabbit and the hare, how he's like running fast and he slows down and the tortoise wins the race because he's slow and steady and, like, he doesn't stop. That's really what wealth and building wealth and investing is. There was a Ramsey video I saw not too long ago, and one of the comments, because he was talking about, like, if you invest, you know, this much a month into the S&P 500, by the time you're 60, you'll have this amount of money. And, like, some you know, person commented, like, who needs money when they're 60? First of all, buddy, everyone needs money when they're 60. I understand the whole idea of wanting to get rich fast. I get it, okay? And you should try to increase your income as much as you can. You should want to, you know, become a millionaire. You should want to invest in mutual funds. But, like, at the end of the day, like, you still should have a retirement account for sure, because assuming you're alive at 60, which, you know, guys, that's the goal. Like, I would hope that most of us make it to 60. You're going to want a nice little nest egg. So start now. Stop delaying it. Start now, guys. It's very important. And I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm not trying to make you, you know, feel like you're behind, because, you know, you're probably not. But I'm trying to make you guys wake up. Right? We live in a world where it's normal to go broke trying to look rich. We live in a world where, like, it's normal for these influencers to rent Lamborghini Uruses and share them. But if you can cut the crap, cut the flexing, the impulse buys, the DoorDash, the McDonald's spending all the time, right? The high interest debt, you can actually start building something real. And wealth isn't loud. It's quiet, guys. It's a paid off car. Right? It's a savings account with 6 months to 12 months of expenses. It's money growing in the background while you live free. It's an investment portfolio growing while you sleep. So let me ask you guys, what's one thing you're spending money on right now that you know deep down you don't need? Maybe it's a subscription you guys pay for. Maybe it's a streaming service you guys pay for, like a Netflix or a Hulu or something like that. But what's something you know that you probably don't need to spend your money on? Maybe it's DoorDash. I don't know what you guys are into, but and what would your life look like if you took that money and started investing it instead? Drop it in the comments, guys. Own it. Let's be real with each other. Let's hold each other accountable, and let's start moving different together. If this hit you, or if you know someone that could gain some value with this in terms of investing, starting to build wealth, and being smarter with your money, I've got more content coming to help you stop being broke and start building a life you guys deserve. If you like this content, let me know. I also want to say, I have links in the description for stuff along the lines of this. I also have my email in there. If you guys ever want me to make a certain video topic on anything, maybe you're listening to this and you're like, oh, like I want him to talk about this, feel free to shoot me an email. Feel free to book a call with me, talk about it. But regardless, I'm always open to ideas to talk about. And once again, hope you guys gained some value from this. So thanks, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Level Up Strategy out.